So, hello, I'm going to try and do some milestone calibrations, starting on the slowest one. This is via the PC. It's a bit odd. I can't seem to do it on the iOS anymore. The option seems to have been disabled, but just on the milestone. It's almost as if they don't want you to do it. We did read in the support notes that they recommend you do it outside, but I can't quite understand why that is. Another odd thing here is that all these odd distances, we've got 6.6 kph, and even though I'm in metric, so it's almost as if they've got like a miles conversion. So let's see. Now I've got my milestone pod on here. Can you see that? Just about on there at the top. I've got another stride on, but I won't use that one for now. So what I need to do is I need to have my mouse so I can actually get it. This is interesting. How am I going to remotely start my calibration on the PC in front of me? This is going to be interesting. I need a willing helper here, really. Let's first of all get going at the speed I need to go at, which is 6.6. It's almost going to be difficult to walk at this, to run at that speed, I think. I need to get a bit looser because I haven't been moving much. Oh, I better stop. Oh, no. What was that? How was it? What a stop. Oh, wait. Right, 6.6. I can actually walk at 6.6. Steps 1, 2, 30. So what I'll always do is adjust my brace here a bit. It's a bit digging into me. Right, let's hop off a second. Take this off. Right, so what I need to do here is press this next button. How can I put my mouse somewhere that I can do that remotely? Just need to have my mouse. Tap the next button. Can I do that on the keyboard? Maybe over my keyboard over to the right. Let's just try and cancel that. Is that right? No, let's press it. I have to press the mouse. Right, then we'll start back on the slowest one, 6.6. So right, need to have my mouse. I need to rub with the mouse with me. It's going to move it, isn't it? How can I put my mouse so that... Where's my... How am I going to click my mouse from here? Huh. I need somewhere flat to move it on. Oh, there's boxes there. Maybe I can do that. Need a Wahoo desk stand on in front of me. What can I use as a makeshift? Use as a makeshift mouse. Oh, the mouse is over there now. Right, that's 6.6 according to the treadmill. So it's like a fast walk for me. What if I move those boxes over there? Right, I've got some shoe boxes here. I think I'll put these over here. I might be able to use that as a temporary table. It's going to bode well. Oh, right, okay, that's what I need to do. So if I get another shoebox, make that a bit higher. I've got one over. How many more have I got? Got one more here. Box. What I need is more shoe boxes to stand about here, and then what else can I get higher to make that? What I need to do is clip that. I need that to be higher there. What have I got under there? I need to get some shoe boxes. Oh, another box. My tread tracker box. Get myself a big one there. Still need to be. I need to be about here, really, so I can just press the mouse. I need to have more stuff. What have I got over there? Bike out the way. Let's stand it up at this end. Right, this is going to be very precarious. How to have a Wahoo desk made out of odds and ends. Right, stick that one on the bottom. Up. Can I get a mouse table? Oh, okay. Alright, marvellous. So, is that going to collapse? Actually, that should lean up against the treadmill. So clearly I need to invest in a no, if I start running, is that going to just collapse? Ooh. So she's going in. start. Right. So that's what I need to do. Just have it on there and click that when I'm ready to go. This one's a bit unstable. I'll try it on this one. That's a crap box. Let's try it that way. Move that box lower. Right, how's that? Collapse the other boxes here. Right. Well, she's still connected to the milestone. Probably find her not now disconnected. It's not going to go everywhere. Might do. Twist my ankle in one fell swoop. Right. 6.6. So I get used to running at 6.6. Let's check that I'm actually still connected to the milestone. Heart rate. Oh, I've got no heart rate. Where's my hand sticking? There we go. Alright, so I'm actually... Oh, that's not too bad. The milestone's going at 7 kph and I'm getting some... Let's see how it looks if I actually start running. So run. Here we go. Run. So I'm actually walking at 6.6 according to the treadmill, and the milestone has got me going at somewhat faster, isn't it? So I clearly need to do a calibration here. It does seem to be all over the place. But if I actually start a running action at this speed, does it actually change the dynamics? Seem to. Of it. So I'm only running at 6.6 according to treadmill. I'm getting 2 kph faster. So let's see if we can do this calibration. We're in the pairing screen. I now think I need to get one of these Wahoo desks. So we put it there, and I can have something to my right there, or something to sort of mouse without having to go and get off. Right. So let's choose the lowest calibration. I want to do all these calibrations to see what happens. So 6.6. Let's see if I can actually better do it as a running action, isn't it, rather than a Here we go, 6.6. So I need to run at this speed for a minute. What I want to check then is that that calibration is actually coming through into the press file. So this is a very, very short stride for me at 6.6. Looks like I'm in slow motion. Let's try and run sort of evenly without sort of changing the rhythm at all. So what's interesting now to see is whether, when you go back into the game, whether running at 6.6 actually is working out better. Let's just try that. So here we go, we've almost done our calibration. Success, right. So now as we go back into the game, okay, that. Back. Right, here we go. So, okay, it's better than it. So, I've calibrated at 6.6 and I appear to be getting round about that. So, that appears to have worked. So what we'll do is I'll have a look on the behind the scenes in Zwift, see if we can actually see what it's doing. So what I need to do is, I'm going to see this now, Zwift. Just want to check if I can access the prefs file, see whether I've got a reading. Zwift press.xml. Calibration. Yeah, I can see a calibration in the file. I've just done this now. 66.88. So that means that I was running at 6.6. And according to the milestone, it had me at 8.8. So that needs to be slowed down a lot. So what I want to do now is to do another calibration and see whether we get both stored. I think there's a rumour that they're now storing multiple calibrations, but I'm not entirely sure about that. So we'll now go to the next calibration, which will be 7.1. So while we're here, we'll go into pairing, milestone, and this time we'll do 7.1. So you can see there it's asking me if I want to delete the calibration at today, but I'm hoping that it will keep the one I've got as well. So in case it doesn't, let me make a spreadsheet of I'll just stick it in Notepad. I'm going to do 66. 66.88. Let's stick it on my other laptop here. So first calibration at 6.6 is 66.88, so that's a huge difference. What I want to see is whether we get another one. So I'll quickly do another calibration to see whether we get two stored. So 7.1. So let's hop back on. Oh, need my mouse. Where's it gone? I got my makeshift Wahoo desk made out of boxes and various paraphernalia, which is probably going to collapse when I start running at any quick speed, but they are £200 and this is just basically cost me nothing. So right, let's start again. Oh, there's the next button. So let's get used to running at 7.1 just to get the hang of it. I don't know why these speeds are so odd. Why would you calibrate at 7.1 rather than 7.0? That's a bit odd in itself. Right, anyway, so just getting used to running at 7.1. Best to actually run rather than walk, because we are trying to do a running calibration. Right, so let's see if I can pick the next button to... Here we go. Right, so we're off. 60 seconds at 7.1. See if we can get a nice even rhythm at speed. Don't jerk too much. This is slower than the recovery pace in WoW yesterday, which I had to walk most of it because it really was quite slow. Right, 20 more seconds. And then I want to try out something then to see. Okay, success. So if we now come back to that. So I'm now running at 7.1. Huh. That's not great, is it? Oh, it's steadying now a bit. This is not far off. It seems to be, yeah, reasonable. 7.0. So that's okay. So let's hop off. Oh, no, I can't use the buddy. Right, so we'll take my phone here. Webcam on my phone, so oops, what am I showing you there? There's OBS. Right, what I'll do now is, where's my mouse? There we are. Have a look back in the prefs file. See whether we can see what I'm looking for. Oh no, it's not as I'd hoped. I thought I'd heard a rumour that they were now saving multiple calibrations, but it doesn't look like they are because there's only one. Can you see that? There's only one there now, which is the one I've just done, the 7.11. So maybe they haven't issued that one yet. So that's not going to work. So I will now need to make a note of these calibrations. Let's stick in. What have I got here? Stick them in something. Got another laptop here. I'll use that one. But anyway, if you see the pref.xml file there, you can see all the calibration values. So there's the one for the milestone. These are the ones I've done with the stride. Yeah, these are doing these calibrations a year ago. In fact, the one with the stride there was even. Oh, I've still got this calibration installed in here, so I ought to delete that one. And one with the Garmin as well. So you can see there that the difference. If these two numbers should be the same, so the one on the left is the calibration speed that you did it at in kph times 10, and the one on the right is the speed it thinks you were doing according to the footpod. So if they match exactly, like that did there at 10 kph on the stride, that's what you want. That means it's basically giving it the same value as the treadmill without any adjustments needed. So what did we get there? 71.83. first one was 66.88. So it looks like we're going to have to basically store all these ones one by one. Okay, so let's try something a bit quicker. And let's try 10 kph. So close that down. So let's go on to back to the pairing screen. Let's try the default one, 10.1, sorry. So I have to put this, I'll put my phone down for now. Right, let's try 10.1. Where's the mouse? So I'm just replying to a comment here. Why am I calibrating in Zwift? Well, because we're using Zwift. They do say with the Milestones calibrate actually outdoors. So only slight like that. Of course, I'm not really wanting to run outdoors at the moment. It's all dark. But as far as I can see, all that does is you go for a run, and the Milestone works out a distance that it thinks you've run, and you obviously have to run on a known course. Either use like a race course, or you run around the track, or you just use your GPS if you think that's reasonable, and you see how they compare, and you kind of think, well, what are they going to do other than just scale the results? So I'm not quite sure. I can't see that there's going to be any sort of adjustment according to what speed you're going at. So let's try running it. Let's get my mouse over the next button so I'm ready to click it. So let's try running at 10.1. Run for a bit at 10.1 so we get used to how that feels. That's 10.1 on the treadmill. It's a bit more effort required this time than 6.6 or whatever it was. So let's get myself into a steady groove on this one. What is the... I wonder if I'm actually moving in. Actually moving. With my mouse control trying to run. Right, here we go. 6. Something steady. Right, let's get a minute done at 10.1. See what results we get. Nearly there, another 10 seconds. Okay, success. And there I'm running it in the milestone at 10.1 calibration, and it's got me pretty correct, so it's 10.2, 10.1, so that's all good. Let's now have a look. I'll stop the treadmill and hop off. Let's now have a look at the press file again. So, need my mouse back. Where's the window? So let's open up the press file, and there's our calibration. Well, bizarrely at 10.1 it's almost identical. So at 10.1 the milestone thought we were running at 10.2, so it's almost perfect, which is interesting. I don't remember that result before. Might need to do a few of these more than one time to get a bit of a view. So I'm just writing these results down into Notepad in this one, so I can maybe draw a graph later. So that's kind of a good result. In fact, I'm almost well surprised about that. So let's try now doing a calibration at that's got what is it doing? It's got up to 12.1, which is kind of about my normal sort of easy-ish pace. So it's going to be more effort required. I might even need the fan for this. Right, let's stick that one there. I could probably do without the fan for just a minute's running. Right, so let's start running. Hope we're still paired. I got 12.1. Let's get used to running at 12.1 for a bit before we start this test. Okay, off we go. See what results we get now. Oh, that's my mouse gone haywire. That's the end of that. Well, that might have, that's not going to improve my test results and my mouse smashing off my trimmer. Let's see if I can finish it off. I might need to hold the mouse when I've started the test. Stick it in my back pocket. I might have also killed my mouse as well. Let's hope not. Right, testing done. That's good. Let's see if I've still got a mouse. Where's it gone? Right back there. Oh. Well, it looks like it might have survived on the battery come out. It's still okay, it's still working. So, right, okay, what's this doing here? Page devices. So what I want to do now is have a look again in the prefs.xml file. Turn my microphone around. And so this time it's 12120. So these results are actually a lot better than I thought. 121. 120. So that kind of suggests for me, between 10 kph and 12 kph, it should work quite well out of the box. Because these calibrations really almost sort of resetting it back to a default, not really having any adjustment at all. So let's try maybe going up to, say, 14, which will certainly be a lot quicker than what we've done so far. So 14.1, how fast can we go? We can only now go to 16.1, so they obviously don't think that you're going to run much faster than that. So let's try 14.1. This is going to be challenging itself to actually start the mouse. We'll take that box off because it's a bit precarious. Just rest the mouse up against the edge there. Right, it's really interesting. I'm trying to is that mouse going to move? It's probably going to move now, isn't it? It's too near. Right. Let's start running at 14.1, see whether I can actually do this. Well, the session in itself needs to start doing its calibrations. Right, we're off. Start motion to click. No, I've got my mouse on I just hold it like a relay button. It was a click on the cancel button. So quite a fast pace now. And we notice it's running a different style at 14.1 to 12.1. There we go. I'll just stop that briefly. Let's go and see what calibration that value that gave me. Ooh. Right. So back to the press file. And so that sort of starts getting interesting. So 141.33. So 141, 133. Now you can see what's happening now is that at slower speeds, the milestone was going a lot. I think I was going a lot faster. As I've got faster, it's actually now got the other way. So at 14.1. Yeah, and I think I was doing 13.3. So you can see the problem. If you were sort of doing an interval session where you were running at 14 kph and recovering at, say, half that, 7 kph, you would, uncalibrated, you wouldn't be far off than the faster one, but the slow one would have you doing your recovery a lot quicker. So it may not be a great issue, but it just illustrates the point I was trying to make, really. So what we should do now, I think it probably just repeats. I'm not sure if I can manage at 16.1, trying to juggle the mouse. That in itself may be fun. Shall I have a go for the hell of it? I think I'm going to have to put my fan for that. So let's see if I can do a calibration at 16.1 without managing to fall off. So this is the fastest calibration speed I can do. And let's see if we can do that. So 16.1, I've got to turn the fan on for this. This is quite a quick pace. This is just a bit over 10 kph. Can I also manage to control the mouse with my right hand while running at that speed? Let's just get started running. Once we get going running, it won't be so bad. It's only a minute interval, but I need to make sure that the treadmill is actually up to this speed. So right, are we there? Oh, I've managed to connect to it. Right, we're off. 16.1. Let's hold the mouse, I'm going to drop it again. Let's see what result we get. I'm going to get the XP points for these sort of runs. It will take seconds, it's only 1 minute. Works. Let's do this bit. And success. Right. So let's see what we get for that. So back to the press file again. See what results we get. Let's catch my breath a bit. So look, 161,135. So we've added it to a list of results. 161,135. So say we were trying to do intervals at 60 kph, the milestone by default only thinks we're running at 13.5. So to illustrate the point, if I then take that calibration back into Zwift and say I'll try running at 10 kph. And we should see that the milestone then the speed would then need to be sort of heavily sped up. So let's see if I can illustrate that. So we've got our calibration done. Oh, that guy's moving without moving his legs. How is he doing that? Is that me? No, I'm stationary. Right, just check we're still connected to the milestone. Yeah, it's all okay. Oh, I didn't notice there, we weren't connected for cadence to the my run. I shouldn't have been up there. What's over there? What's that? Milestone. Stride or... Oh well, we've kept it to milestone for the main one, which is... Stride. No cadence at all. Let's take it from the stride. Doesn't matter really. This one's there. I think that's one I've got on mine. Which foot I've got that on? Left foot. So let's see what happens if we run at different speeds. And the calibration was done at 16.1 and it thought we were running at 13.5. So if I run a lot slower than 16 kph, it should speed me up to try and bring that back up. So if you see if the milestone starts registering. There we go, looks like we're moving now. So I'm just walking, so it's not really probably the characteristics. So let's try a little jog at 6.6. Yeah, so as I thought, because the calibration is done at a very high speed, it wants to basically bump up your speed. So I'm doing 6.6 kph, and Zwift thinks I'm doing 9.2 because it's basically applying a huge multiplier to the speed. So as I get faster, that should come down. So if I go up to say 10 kph on the treadmill, wait for this to stabilise, it should still be showing me running as a lot faster, but not quite as big a gap. Well, that means that it's 2 kph out. So, you know, it's the difference between running in, say, Group C and Group B. So if you whole group out, if you're running a group one. So let's go up to 12 kph. And now it should be a bit better. Well, we're still getting a lot higher though, aren't we? 14.2. So it's basically all over the place. I'm actually running at 12.0 and Milestone is making this run at 14. So if I bump this back up to 14, let's go 14 kph now on the treadmill. And now it's doing a bit better. It's still having me running too fast. Oh, I don't know, it's still 2 kph too high, isn't it? Even though I've calibrated. So let's just quickly go up to 16.1, see how it does there. Right, 16.1 on the treadmill. And we're now quite close, aren't we? We're only a few tenths off, and then 16.1 exactly. So, largely proved my point that whatever speed you calibrate at is going to work well. Let's just try calibration at some intermediate value that I haven't done. Let's try 11 kph, say. Alright, pair. Oh, we can't connect. No, it's not. Oh, it's right, there it is. Right, let's try 11.1. Let's try 11.6. Was that? Let's try 11.1. Let's go in between. Right. So I'm now trying calibration at 11.1. So let's start the treadmill again. What we want to do now is get our mouse ready. Is that over it? Let's go for level 1. And there we go. So right, 60 seconds at 11.1. See what results we get. We should get a result similar to the 10 and 12 kph ones, which are quite close to being correct. A bit more of a friendly pace than 16.1, I must say. Okay, so here's our 10.1 calibration done, hopefully. Let's see if we can make any success. I'll bump down the speed a bit. Pop off. See what that gives us. Okay, so we're looking for our 11.1 calibration. And oh, so we get a perfect calibration. 11.1, it's 11.1. Well, how about that? So, sorry, just show you that calibration there. 11.1 on the treadmill. Milestone thought you were doing 11.1. So, if you didn't want running at 11.1, then I'll be laughing, wouldn't I? So let's just add it to our list. So interestingly, at 10 kph, 11 kph and 12 kph, the results are very, very similar. It's only when we go a lot faster or a lot slower, it seems to get really confused. So it's almost as if the algorithm's tuned up to be people running at a sort of a fairly sort of traditional, sort of easy, steady, tight run pace. And if you're going really slowly, almost walking pace, or really quickly for like a good standard runner, or you're doing sprints, then it struggles. So so maybe the moral is that you need to run just sort of easy, steady pace on it, and then you might be alright. Because now I'm back to calibration. In fact, I don't have a calibration because it's 11.1 throughout. So just to show you the effects of that, now if I go back into Zwift and run a bit, we should sort of basically see the initial results that we had initially. Right, so where am I? Let's just put the thing down. So if we go through all the calibration speeds, right, so I've now calibrated at 11 for those joining, I've now calibrated the Milestone at 11.1, and looking in the pref.xml file, by chance, it also thought you were running at 11.1. So effectively I've got no calibration back. I had tried it at very slow speeds, where by default the Milestone thought you were running a lot quicker, and at very high speeds, where it thought you were running a lot slower. So now what we should see is it should be quite good results between about 10 kph and 12. So if I go at 6.6, treadmill set to 6.6, and I'll start a little run just to prove I'm actually running. And sure enough, the milestone is reporting a lot quicker. So I'm running at 6.6, and it's giving me a whole more than a kilometre per hour faster. So instead of a virtual walk, I'm actually doing a slow jog. So if I then move up to, let's say, 8 kph, see how that does. Get used to running on that. So it's not too bad, although it's just getting ourselves adjusted to this new space. But it's slightly better now. We're within 1 kph, the right distance, but instead of 8.0 on the treadmill, I'm actually given 8.8. So let's go up to 10, where we thought the calibration I did earlier was quite similar to what we were showing. So now I'm expecting it to actually report quite close to the value. And sure enough, we're almost spot on. Can't really argue with that. I'm doing 10.0 according to the treadmill and 10.0 in Zwift. So, but the calibrations I did at 10, 11 and 12 were almost identical to what the milestone was reporting. So if I now go 11, see how it gets on. Just take a while for it to adjust up to the new speed. And you can kind of see it's pretty much getting there, isn't it? 10.8 now. Let's fluctuate a bit. See if I can keep a steady form. But it's not sort of too bad. This is effectively using the calibration at, well, it's 11.1 I did the calibration at. And it was then reporting that milestone was actually reading the same. So, yeah, it's a few tenths off, but you couldn't really complain about that. The stride, to be honest, is not really that much better. So if we go to 12 kph, which is, or 12.1, which is the calibration I did before, which gave us very similar. So let's see if it gets there. And there we go, 12.1, 12.3. Fluctuates a bit, but you kind of expect that. So certainly between 10 and 12 kph for me, out of the box calibration is actually pretty good. So if I did all my runs between 10 and 12 kph, I'll be quite happy. But if we then go now 13, what happens now? 13 kph. We've joined Monday Run Club Group A, and we're getting dropped because we're sort of up to half 0.3 behind. If we now go 14 kph on the treadmill, milestone is barely getting us over 13, and we would have to run, well, it was way off now, isn't it? It's over a kilometre per hour, too slow at 14 kph. And if I briefly put up to 16, oh, it's hopeless. Doing 16 kph and it's reporting 13 and a half. So, that's it. Really useless for any sort of fast work. But if I drop back down to 11, so I get time to adjust. And there we go. It's almost perfect again. So for me, that test between 10 and 12 kph works great. seriously slower than that wants to be faster. It's awful. So, moral is only use it within the calibration area that you're at. Yeah, so the 11.0 on the treadmill, and I'm getting virtually the same, which is good to see. How far have I run today? 2 point. I already run this morning actually, so I won't run much further. Okay. What I should do now, if I just show you these are calibration results that pick up from the Press.xml file, and if you didn't see that earlier, you can see that if you go into, let's get the right mouse, if you go into the Zwift folder and open your Press.xml file, you can see the calibration values. So the one on the left there is 1111, that's in kph times 10, and the one on the right is the speed that the milestone thought you were going at. So if they're the same, it doesn't apply any scaling at all. If we look at the results, there's the 11, 11, 11. When I was going at 6.6 kph, the milestone thought I was going at 8.8. So basically, that would need to be seriously slowed down when you're going very slowly. Conversely, when I tried to do a calibration at 16.1, which is a challenge in itself, then the milestone only had me doing at 13.5. So that in that case would need to be as much sped up as the slower speed, and then to be slowed down. But if you look, the calibrations at 10.1, 11.1, and 12.1 were almost spot on with what I was actually running at. So what I want to do now is just try another one at. Let's try one in the middle. Let's try one. Should I do 12.1 again, just to see whether I get a consistent result? So let's close down the file because it will probably want to write into that. So one last calibration. Get my screen set up for 12.1, and I'll take my mouse and let's see if we can do one more at 12.1. So let's start the treadmill. I'm way over the next button. So I wouldn't be running at 12.1, so we'll get used to running at 12.1 for a little bit. It's important that you maintain a consistent style in this 1 minute test. The tread will actually get up to speed as well, that's quite important, because it obviously will take a little bit for the belt to catch up. So I think we're okay now, and see if I can click next. Here we go. Right. So 60 seconds at 12.1, trying to maintain a steady form, not over stride, under stride, just run as I feel like I do normally. Shouldn't be much talking at this speed. Do put a bit of wobble on the treadmill, I see that. But I just want to see whether this calibration result is broadly similar to the one we'd already done. Nearly that. Got success. And there we go. So I'm now running in the game at 12.1. the treadmill and having calibrated at 12.1, and well, it's not far off, is it? But I'm going a bit fast, although it's suddenly jumped down to, oh, there we go, 12.2, 12.3, 12.5. It's a bit erratic, but it's kind of passable. Let's see what result I actually got. See if that. What's the course record for Strava? That's never been to me. That's better on a bike. Check that out. Chance. Wiki comment back to dash. That's 4:43. Brian Herbert. That's a night run with a wife. 15 miles in the dark. 6.54. Oh, who's this guy? Never heard of him. Anyway. Brian Herbert. Godalming. Oh, is he run with the dog? Might run with the wife. First night ride at the season. From Boxwood. Is he on the dog as well? Oh, a night ride. You might ride, might you? What's he saying here? Night run with the wife. Let's check on that later. What's he doing down there? 3:38 fastest master. Well, I think it was on the bike, wasn't it? So I think I'll flag that one later. Right, a brief interlude there. Right, so I want to be looking at the press.xml file. And here we go, 121.120. And what's the identical results to what I had before? So I've done that calibration twice and got the same results twice. So that's encouraging. So that means that when I'm running at 12.1 on the treadmill, by default, this milestone thinks I'm running at 12.0. So that means it needs to be fractionally, very, very fractionally sped up, but so little in it that you kind of think that at that speed it works great out of the box. So that result there confirmed my sort of earlier findings that if I run between 10.0 and 12.0 kph, then it's pretty much great out of the box. If I run a lot faster, it really just can't keep up. When I was running 16.1, I thought I was running 13.5. And when I was running at 6.6, or trying to run at 6.6, it thought I was actually running 8.8. Well, the results are a bit skewed because when I was running at 7.1, it thought it was running 8.3. So, but anyway, the point is there. When I was running very slowly, the milestone had you running a lot faster. The problem now is, of course, that I haven't calibrated at 12. If I then wanted to run at 14 or 16, I'll be getting a lot less speed than I'm getting at. So if I want to do a lot of work at 14 kph, I'd really need to go and recalibrate at 14 kph. Or maybe even actually on the, because it's the Windows here, I can actually just type in the calibration myself into this bit here. So I could actually go in and edit this here and just put in the results I want to put in. So let's just try that out of the joke. So that's me. Let's just say, just to illustrate how you can potentially manipulate this. So let's say I calibrated at 12 kph and it thought I was actually running at 6 miles an hour. Let's just change that to 120. So basically it thinks I'm running, I fiddled this to think that the milestone is now running half the speed of what I am at 20 kph. Let's do it the other way actually. Let's do it, make these numbers look more sensible. So let's do it 6, let's do 08 and then 16. So change their mind there. So I calibrated at 8 kph by pretend, and it thought I was running at 16 kph. So let's see if that actually puts that up. I wonder if this would need to restart Zwift for that. We'll soon see when we start running whether it's picked that up. So let's go to very low speed. I may need to restart Zwift to pick up that file. Yeah, I don't think it's picked that up, is it? If I come up to the pairing screen, I'll come back to the pairing screen, see if I can force it to actually pick up this value. So let's try calibration. Let's pretend we didn't actually get that one. Not playing them back. See whether it's picked up a new value or not. Alright, here we go. This is picked it up. So, oh no, it isn't. It's 5.5. That's actually got me all working right now. I think what I need to do is I need to log out of Zwift and come back in. So let's try that. Today. 50. So let's just save that. So I've exited Zwift, and oh, it's put it back. So it's actually put the value back to what it was before. So what I need to do now is insert my own value once it's up running. So what I'm basically saying here is I'm pretending that I did a calibration at 8 kph and Zwift had me running at 16. Milestone had me running at 16. Let's try now opening Zwift again. See whether I can pick that one up. Just waiting for Zwift to restart, and then I might need to. Is it back on my stream? It gets to a certain point when it might actually return to the stream. Seem to remember. It's very slow, this machine. I need to see if I can get myself a new one. It takes forever to start up. you think it's kind of crashed, and it sort of eventually, a few minutes later, will suddenly wake up. Here we go, there's the login. So I want to now see whether the companion app, I'm going to stretch this far, is the companion app. All is connecting, so hopefully now I should be able to see my MilestonePod. There's my run source. Let's tap the MilestonePod to wake it up. There's the green light. There we go. MilestonePod. Heart rate. There we go. Right, so let's put the phone down. So what I'm now expecting to see is this demonstration how I can basically run twice as fast as the calibration. So let's try running. Let's hope to see whether this actually pick this up now. Okay, so I'm now set the terminal at 5.5 kph. Well, that's the right way around. Oh, so I've got this right around. So what I've done is I've manually entered the calibration that I did at calibration 8.0 kph, and it was giving me 16 kph. So that basically means now that you would expect it's a half your speed, because it thinks that the milestone is going twice as fast as you calibrated at, which is about right, because I'm getting now 2.5 kph when I'm walking. Let's just break into it. Let's go up to 8 kph is what I actually calibrated it at. Pretend calibration at 8.0. So I'd expect now to see around about 4. This should be halving the speed it sees. That's not too bad. So I'm actually running at 8 kph, because I've set the calibration to 16, it's now halving it for me. So if I go a bit faster, when it was working well at 11.1 before, it should now be way off. And yeah, it is literally half the speed. So what I should really have done is the other way around, I think. No, I've entered this calibration, of course, I probably want to get rid of it. The best way of doing that is to do another calibration. So let's do one more at, let's do one in the middle that we've done already. Let's try 11.6. Let's try 12.6, so then we'll see whether the range a bit outside is okay. So one final calibration, let's let this treadmill stop. Here we go, right, let's get it on there. So I want to do 12.6, start the treadmill. Oh, that's too fast. 12.6. Take a while to get up to speed. Stop this when I think I've got up to speed. Alright. There we go. Calibration started. So the last calibration of the night, see if I can get back to one that's vaguely sensible. stay upright. It's got a long minute, these calibrations. It's a bit of a session in itself. Okay, getting there. Last 20 seconds. And there we go. So if I now click back into the game, so I calibrated at 12.6, and let's see what I'm getting. A bit faster. So now at 12. Anyway, just drop back to 12.8. It's sort of there or thereabouts, isn't it? Okay, let's have one last look at what value I got for that. I've got to get my star there. Of course, I now need to be moving, don't I? Once you're wearing a foot pod, you actually need to move. Right, so let's have a quick look at the value. Press.xml file, and then 126121. That's a bit out of step with my other ones. You see that one there, 126121. So I calibrated at 12.6, and it thought I was doing 12.1. So if I add that one into my list here, get the right mouse. My list of other calibrations. So that one's a bit of an outlier perhaps, but it kind of illustrates the point that as you get above about 12 kph, it kind of sort of seems to break down a bit. So that's probably it for now. Quite a long drawn out one, but I thought it would be useful reference myself to see what I was doing. So yeah, 126121. So at least that means at higher speeds I'll be speeding up a bit. So if I run faster in the game with a milestone, at least I'll be there or thereabouts. But I probably wouldn't have actually done the calibration back towards that sort of even mark about, well, no calibration at all actually, if I just run between 10 and 12 kph based on those figures. Right, I'll talk about that later. Thanks a lot for coming along, and I'll see you all next time.